Okay, today we are playing a game on Ilios. We are in the Silver SR range, and we will be playing Pharah the entire way through. And because we are in the Silver SR range, I don't particularly care what our team comp is, because there isn't much point worrying about it in that SR range, beyond, do we have a healer, do we have a tank? That's kind of the only thing that really matters. Because the thing is, below Gold SR, people don't know how to play their hero yet. As a result, team comp tends to not really matter particularly much. By the way, we're on the console today. Consider yourself warned. So, we are on Ruins first. So, we do have to be afraid of a Widowmaker popping out, because this is one of the best Widowmaker maps in the game. So, I mean, you know, the Widowmaker's gonna be in silver on the console. You got that, that's all very true. But still, this is one of the best Widowmaker maps in the entire game. So, if you're playing Pharah on Ruins, you gotta be kind of afraid of a Widowmaker popping out. Now, instead of Bastions popped out, which we don't have to be particularly afraid of. So we are staying, like, real low to the ground here. One of the cool things about Ruins is that there's a lot of geometry for Pharah to use for cover in the air, because there's the pillars. So we can hang out in the sky and not really have to worry about it too much, because there's a lot of stuff around us to use as cover, and we can, like, fully rotate all the way around the pillars, rather than, like, hanging out on the ground. Our two healers are more, oh, she got back, okay, I thought that was gonna be really sad. Our two healers are Moira and Lucio, so we are gonna have to, like, come back down to get healed, but the map is really good for Pharah. So, booping them right here doesn't really accomplish very much. It does boost Reinhardt, like, all the way back over there, but, like, rather than doing that, I'd rather kind of just, like, jump up in the sky and start shooting past the shield instead. Especially since they were all taking damage from Moira's orb as well. It doesn't really accomplish a huge amount. I also prefer to save the concussive blast to use for self-movement, rather than using it to knock the enemy team around for, like, not much reason. Unless it's going to push the person, like, really out of position, or push them over the edge and kill them. Otherwise, I prefer to use it for self-movement. So, just, like, go get the large health kit behind us. It's not that far out of the way, and, like, are we going to rely on the Lucio and Moira to heal us up as Pharah? So this boop also doesn't really accomplish a huge amount. What I'd rather do right here is just push ourselves back, just, like, jump up, push back off the wall, and then we can start using the pillars as cover and backing up. Because it just kind of pushes D.Va a little bit further back into the hole. Doesn't really accomplish that much. I'd rather push ourselves away from the D.Va, really. Especially since we're pretty close to the enemy team at that point. We were advancing in while at, like, half health as well, which is also not recommended, especially as someone like Pharah. So we just very badly need to actually get some health. Yeah, just get the health kit. Okay, thank God. Okay. Now she see. Oh my God, Moira. Guys, waste like 20% of a resource, like, on nothing. So we've followed Junkrat into this confined location, which is not recommended, because this is where Junkrat would like us to be. Junkrat would very much like us to follow him into this small location where we cannot take advantage of our vertical mobility. Now, this Junkrat's bad. He just leaves, so it's no big deal. But if the Junkrat's paying attention and sees that we're following him to the room, what he does is, waits for us to come in, bomb, concussive mine, dead. Instead, he runs away, and we can just run after him. But a better Junkrat wouldn't let that happen. So we do sort of push Reinhardt away from the Bastion, which is cool. I do keep focusing the Bastion, though, because he's slightly more important than the Reinhardt is. The Reinhardt, you know, whatever, okay, we would like Reinhardt to be dead, certainly. But you know who we would like to be dead faster? It's Bastion. So focus the Bastion first, rather than, like, the Reinhardt. Pharah's also not great at killing tanks. It takes Pharah a fair bit of working over a tank to actually kill them. She's good at killing squishy targets, because it's only like 2 hits dead. 3 hits most of the time. So, but she's not very good at killing tanks, because it takes, like, a lot of shots to actually kill them. Granted, it's easy to direct hit them, but Pharah just doesn't do, like, huge, consistent DPS like that. She does a lot of burst DPS. She's not so much on the consistent DPS. That's more like Soldier's remit. So, we do have Barrage built up. Those of them are dead right now. There's still a Junkrat floating around somewhere. We did hear the tire. We don't have our jump jets available because we've come to land on the ground. Be careful about landing where you're gonna land when the jump jet's on cooldown. Because the cool thing about Pharah is that Pharah actually has 2 movement abilities, because she has Concussive Blast and the jump jets. I forget what the fucking jump jets are called. It might just be jump jets, but I feel like that's not the actual name for the ability. Either way, she has 2. But, like, the jump jet is, like, Pharah's movement ability. So if you're gonna land on the ground, gotta be careful that it's not, like, a super dangerous location to land, because you need to be able to, like, Concussive Blast fly away afterwards to actually, like, get out of danger. Because, like, we heard the tire coming out, but our jump jet was on cooldown. So what are we going to do at that point? So we just used Barrage right here, basically to kill Reinhardt, which is fair enough. We are, like, very out in the open of this right now. If we, like, know we're going to use this to kill Reinhardt, I'd rather get, like, a little bit more out of the way first, because we are just, like, literally out in the middle of this cube. And we do dunk the shit out of the Reinhardt, no doubt, but, like, completely out in open space while we're doing that, without, like, a Mercy on our team to try and keep us alive. Risky business. Would like to try and be, like, closer to one of the pillars, just, like, obscure their line of sight a little bit, rather than just doing out in open space. So we've, like, fully landed down here. And again, this is what Junkrat would like us to do. The idea would be more to, like, float around like, we can just stay up on this upper bit right here, just, like, walk along the edge and try to shoot him. But the idea would be to, like, float above him. Because, again, Junkrat would like us to be, like, right, like, touching the ground in front of him. If we're, you know, if you're playing Pharah, the Goomba stomping somebody's a strategy, but it's, like, floating above, just above the person, firing rockets down at them. We don't really want to, like, land on the ground next to the person and then start shooting them, like, on the ground. The idea is to be, like, still in the air above the person. But, like, you know, we're closer to the person, but we don't want to actually, like, land and start touching the person, because it makes it easier to die. Even right here, just, like, float across and, like, dunk on the diva and then, like, get out of the way, instead of, like, fully landing next to the diva. It's actually the diva that kills us. Baby diva shoots us as she's coming out. That's sad. Where have we been floating? We're also, like, floating kind of out in open space right now. The enemy team, like, they are distracted with people on the ground, and they don't really have anybody that's super threatening to us, so we do have more freedom of movement. We can just kind of, like, float out in open space more, because, like, the thing that's scary to us floating out in open space is Bastion, right? Because he's their only, like, actually, by the way, this isn't just a 10-minute long video. There's 2 videos for 1 game. Bastion's, like, the only one that can actually shoot us consistently out in open space, so we don't have to worry about it so much versus this team comp. We do have more, like, freedom of movement, because they don't have anybody on their team that's, like, super good at killing us. So we've managed to bully this Lucio to death. He's upset about that. Their Bastion is dead right now. Sort of creeping around the back side. Who are we, were we concussive blasting? I guess we thought... That was, like, someone on our team, right? Yeah. I guess we tried to concussive blast him, thinking he was the enemy Junkrat. Whatever. So... Their Junkrat's using the tire right now. It's just exploded. It didn't kill anybody. Feels bad. It feels bad. We did, like, a lot of damage to ourselves, didn't we? That was us. Yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate. Then we, like, land and, like, do some damage to ourselves. The May wall is unfortunate, though, to be fair. So we are just, like, standing in the middle of the point at low health, which is also not, like, super recommended. Again, we just, like, float over the top of D.Va, like, keep, like, this kind of, like, a little bit higher than that, so we're not, like, damaging ourselves on the D.Va as well. Like, kind of, like, around here, and just, like, float along the top of her, dunking on her. Landing on the ground again is, like, some risky business. Oh, we almost killed ourselves right there with the concussive blast. It is fair enough to not trust the Orisa barrier. If self-destruct or Deadeye or anything like that is happening, don't trust the barrier. Just try to get to a wall anyway, because you can't trust the barrier to keep you alive. Also, the more people gathering up behind a barrier for Deadeye makes the barrier much less safe to be standing behind. When I'm playing McCree, I fucking watch like 5 people group up behind the Reinhardt barrier. I'm like, yes, good, good. I'll get like a triple kill off of this one, easy at least. So we've managed to win that round. So I don't feel like we really did that much. It seemed like we were like floating around without really a firm plan of what we were trying to do. Which is like basically just kind of harass them from that situation because they were spread out as like all fuck. So the plan would more just be to kind of like float around and then try to kill the people who are out of position, which was basically everyone at all points in time during that game. You know, low SR game, on the console no less. Which I've heard is generally worse for that kind of business. So that concussive blast isn't going to accomplish very much. Concussive blast is a really long cooldown. If we want, again, we kind of like really want to save it for self-movement, unless we can use it to like really fuck somebody over on the enemy team. Like a 12-second cooldown, it's a long time. Don't want to just throw it out willy-nilly for no reason. And like Lighthouse as well, we can probably find an opportunity to push somebody off the edge, if not use it to save ourselves. So now we're getting like, wait, I'm not sure what we're doing right now, because like there's a fight happening actively on the point beneath us. And we go like this really long route around. And then start firing at the other Pharah. There's been a team fight happening on the point this entire time, and we haven't been super involved in that. Ooh, Don't land next to Symmetra. That's just like a general thing. Don't land next to Symmetra either. So, you know, aim better, all that. We can infer from the fact there's a Symmetra and they won this team fight, there's probably some turrets on the objective right here. We do manage to concussive blast back out the window before we die, but we're not exactly in a good-looking spot right now. That's really surprising D.Va didn't just outright kill us when she collided with us right there. So, I think our healers are still Lucio and Moira, so we're kind of shit out of luck as far as healing goes. We do have concussive blast. Pharah is one of those heroes that benefits a lot from knowing where health kits are, because sometimes your healers can't get to you, or you know you don't have healers that are great for Pharah. I mean, you can play Pharah when you don't have a Mercy on your team, but like it's a lot harder. Don't do that. Don't concussive blast the other Pharah. If we can get the concussive blast on the Pharah, we could have just like landed a rocket instead, you know. So wow. There is a health kit, because we have concussive blast right now. There's a health kit in the building down here at the bottom of the staircase, large health kit. So we could just, like, concussive blast over this way, drop into the room, get the large health kit, try to get back out. Or concussive blast over here, through the rooftop, get into the building, try and, like, reconnect with our team, and get healed up over there instead. Because right now we're floating around with 19 health, which we don't really want to... Like, that's, like, just like anything could kill us right now. Fly flaps its wings near us, particularly fiercely. That's it, it's all over for us. There's also a health kit in that room behind us that we were just in. And we do manage to trace down the Pharah. We almost killed ourselves on the Pharah. We were very close to doing so, and then we killed ourselves on the Junkrat. But we at least got the Junkrat as well. We just really badly needed to prioritize getting some more health in that situation. Pharah, you know, benefits knowing where the health kits are. We're fairly low level, so I'm assuming we probably don't know where all the health kits are offhand. That's fair enough. Their D.Va just killed herself, knocking Orisa off the edge. Good job, good job. I think that concussive blast doesn't really accomplish that much either. Would rather hold on to it to see if we can push somebody off the edge or save ourselves, because it just kind of like jostled them around a little bit. Didn't really like meaningfully disrupt them. So this is actually super inconvenient for us right now. The Symmetra wall. And, you know, here's some hot synergy for you. Pharah is real vulnerable while using Barrage. Not if there's a fucking 5,000 barrier shield in front of you. 5,000 health barrier shield in front of you. Barrier shield. Even better than a regular shield. It's a barrier shield. And then suddenly, it's quite hard to kill that Pharah suddenly. So we do almost have Barrage built up. We are in a position where we could just drop down as our team is pushing in and barrage them. If we're in a position where we have Barrage and we can kind of like sneak up on the enemy team, we don't really want to give away the fact that we're there. Because Pharah can do some hot flanking action as well, right? So the goal in that, when you're trying to, like, when we've got Barrage and we can, like, get the drop on the enemy team, we don't want to give away anything that we're here. We want to just, like, pop out right next to them and start barraging so they die before they have any time to react to us. So, in this position, I'm mostly just like, let's wait, and then we can, like, drop down the middle. Classic Lighthouse strat, just drop down the center column on top of them, barrage, try and kill some people in there. Drop down one of the doorways behind them, you know, barrage right behind them. But don't fire any rockets, if that's what we're trying to do. Because we don't want them to know that we're here. Bumping D.Va off the edge, you know, hard to do in general. I've noticed we have a tendency to fire the concussive mine directly at the person, which is not the correct idea, because then, you know, it just kind of, it doesn't do as much if it, like, aim at the ground or the wall next to them, gets more momentum off than just, like, hitting them directly with it. It's also, like, less consistent if you hit them dead on. If you hit the wall, if you hit the ground next to the dude, he goes that way, opposite to where you hit. But it just, like, weirdly puts less momentum on the person if you directly hit them. Sometimes, anyway. Sometimes it, like, doesn't seem to matter, but, like, you want to hit the ground or the wall next to them rather than aiming it, like, directly at the person. So, team fight broke out. We used Barrage. I was kind of, like, off in my own little world. That's fair enough. Didn't get many kills other than D.Va's mech, but, like, honestly, that's good enough as far as I'm concerned, because we basically killed their tank. Looks like we kind of lost track of the Symmetra for a little while. It's alright. Our Moira's got a bigger beam than Symmetra does. Ooh, yep, jump just to make sure. Just heard Junkrat start using the tire. Saw it go by on the backside over there, but it's not going to come for us because clearly it's going to go on the objective. And we've ended up C9ing. So we are trying to kill D.Va. That's fair enough. So I've seen the tire, it's going off on the left-hand side. It's clearly not going to try and kill us because it's going on the objective, but that's probably going to make our team disperse a little bit. So I want us to start floating over to the objective so that we can touch it if we have to, which it turns out we actually did have to. Video, I'm going to have to switch over right now. Watch this sick tech right here. There we go. Does help if you stop that video first, though. There we go. Unmute so I can actually hear what's going on. So now we're on Well, which is a good map for Pharah also, because, you know, concussive blast, real good when there's an environmental hazard, which, Well has a fairly defining characteristic for it, I would say. So, also, when you're coming out of the spawn, just use concussive blast to get there, like, a little bit faster. 12 seconds is, like, enough time to wait, usually, unless you're gonna go for, like, a bump off the edge immediately with concussive blast, which is easy to do on, like, Lijiang Tower Garden. You can try and go for it on Well, but it's a little bit harder. Just get there faster, basically. Concussive blast is not the kind of cooldown like amp it up, because like amping up the speed boost out of the spawn is not a great idea. Concussive blast doesn't have the same kind of importance as amp it up, so you can just use it coming out of the gate to get to the objective faster at the start of the round. So we've learned they have a Bastion, whom we've just seen die to Moira, which is very unusual, so good job, Bastion. And, oh, Reinhardt's just popped out next to us. We kind of bonked our skull on the ceiling, but we concussive blasted away. We're getting, like, real close to the targets again. Like, we don't want to be this close to a Reinhardt. Now, he doesn't pay any attention to us, which is good for us, but, like, we don't want to be that close to him. It also makes us more vulnerable to, like, Junkrat and stuff, and, like, the enemy team in general. The whole thing with Pharah is that she has vertical mobility, which not many, like, no other hero has the same kind of vertical mobility as Pharah. Mercy does if there's a Pharah on the team, you know, but, or when she's ulting. Most of the time, no one's got as much vertical mobility as Pharah. So, we kind of want to take advantage of that as much as possible. The big thing with Pharah players usually is that they spend a lot of time floating out in open space and don't actually use any cover while they're in the air. We seem to have a more unusual problem, which is just that we're hanging out real close to the ground still, which is, like, not really taking advantage of what's strong about it. Like, even now, we've, like, landed directly on the Junkrat, and we punched him off the edge, so that's great. Like, he's fucking dead, which is ultimately all we're asking for. But, like, Junkrat wants us to be this close. If we're gonna Goomba stomp somebody, you don't literally stomp on the dude's head. You stop, like, nope, that's too far forward. Let's try and get the right shot on this one. You stop, like, here. And at this point, like, hitting the dude with the rockets has become quite easy. But you're also high enough off the ground that the person can't, like, if the person can look up and punch you, you're definitely too close to the dude, right? Goomba stomping's a thing with Pharah. It's, like, really easy to kill somebody if you're, like, real close to the person, because the rockets are very easy to get a direct hit at that point. But we don't want to be, like, directly touching the person. Especially if it's somebody who, like, wants us to be really close to them, like a Junkrat or a Reinhardt. You know, they'd love us to be next to them. We don't want to be, like, next to them. So, and then, you know, we're just, like, walking into the room over here. We've not really been taking advantage of Pharah's vertical mobility that much. And I mean, we don't have a Mercy on our team, or even a Zenyatta, which means we have to come to the ground to get healing now and then. But we could still be in the air, like, a lot more than we are usually. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, I didn't break the tire. Oh, that's tragic. Very surprisingly, as well, actually. Because, like, didn't we get 2 rockets on it? Probably wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't actually, like, taking damage yet, I think, on the first one. Unfortunate. Tragic world. So we've almost got Barrage built up. That's cool. We are kind of behind them right now, and our team is regrouping. So we're trying to kill Baby D.Va. We could, like, try and wait for our team to regroup and then, like, do some flanking barrage action. We've elected instead to just barrage Lucio, basically, which didn't really accomplish that much. Like, if we barrage, like, those 2 boys, that's fair enough. Just Lucio, I'm not so excited about that one. And then we're kind of, like, look around, like, oh, fuck, what do I do with this now? We actually could have killed Baby D.Va with it as well, because, like, that's Baby D.Va right there. But then we kind of, like, swing past her. She ends up getting another mech as well, which is sad. Just killing the Lucio with that I'm not super excited about. There goes Moira, rip. So, someone just called out in the voice chat that Bastion was behind us, and in fact, I can hear Bastion. He's, like, touching us practically on the right side right now. And, we didn't notice that. Orisa killed him, so we didn't have to worry about it. Great job, Orisa. But, like, someone called it out, and I could hear the dude, like, basically touching us, and we didn't notice he was there. So, yeah, that's not... How has she ended up in this position? Oh, she was standing up there, and then all this happens. I was like, what the fuck happened to her? Again, Symmetra would love for us to be closer to her, so, like, don't get, like, right next to the Symmetra. The Symmetra is bad, she's in silver, so clearly she's not going to actually track us well enough to kill us, especially under duress like that, but eventually that'd be good enough to do that. Symmetra we don't want to be, like, directly next to, because of the laser beam. I mean, the laser beam actually has, like, a pretty long radius on it, but, yeah, we don't want to be super close to her, because we're only making life easier for Symmetra at that point. So, fight's going okay. I fucking hate Ilios so much I can't see the health bar. So we're half health. That's scary. Oh god, that's also scary. So we might have saved that guy by doing that. And I mean, I understand that we're like, oh fuck, this is the enemy Roadhog, I want him away from me. We might have actually ended up saving him by doing that, because we actually pushed him, like, super far away from our team. A better maneuver from this position, I mean, I'm not going back through this way, I'm gonna, like, float around the backside of the, over the death pit. Like, float around over, pointing with my own fucking hand like a dumbass. I'm gonna float around this way instead, just because there's less chance of running into an enemy going that way than actually, like, cutting through the building. Because, I mean, as evidenced, we cut through the building and run directly into the enemy Roadhog. But a better maneuver from this position would be, because even if we pushed him like that, like, if he wants us dead, like, he could kill us regardless if we push him like that. A better maneuver would be rotate 180, knock myself past the Roadhog, and then, like, jump up so the roof covers me. which is kind of what we did in the end, but we, like, pushed Roadhog away from our team, rather than, like, pushing ourselves away from the Roadhog. Didn't matter anyway, like, we were winning the team fight by that point regardless, so, you know, whatever. So now we're going to try and bully this Reinhardt to death. That would be a fair enough boop if we push him onto the objective, because that's pushing him, like, it's unlikely to get him in the pit. It might get him in the pit, but it would push him, like, out of position, because it pushes him onto the objective while he's by himself. So that would be fair enough, but we didn't quite do it. We pushed him the wrong way. But that would be fair enough if we push him in the correct direction. So now we see they have a Reaper, because we just saw him in the back over there. We as Pharah, we've got a vested interest in bullying Reaper, because, hey, Pharah's really good at bullying Reaper. Who would have guessed? It's almost like he can't do much to shoot somebody far up in the sky. I've also seen in the kill feed that they have a soldier. So suddenly we have to actually worry about, like, being out in open space, because now they actually have somebody who can contest us if we're floating out in open space. Again, we're just, like, walking through the whole map right now. We do have Barrage built up right now. Roadhog's scary, because as soon as we start using Barrage, he can hook us out of it, so we gotta be wary of that. We, like, didn't seem to note... No, we did notice him, because we came back for him. We just, like, had a bit of a delayed reaction. This is a really bad spot to use Barrage. We're just, like, floating out... No, we just, like, really slowly float out into open space, and then Barrage right in the middle of the objective. And, like, doesn't look like we have, like, the firmest idea of what we want to do with it. Because it looks like we want to use it on these two boys, but then we immediately swing past and just, like, do a 360 with it. I think if we just focused on those two, we could have killed them, but then we, like, do all this as well. So it looks like we don't have a firm idea of what we want to do with it. Or we, like, vastly overestimated how much damage it was going to do that quickly. But, like, we just, like, look at that from Torbjorn's perspective, right? Like, we just made ourselves a big pinata in the middle of the objective right there. Which is not great. If you watch, like, a really good Pharah player, the way they use Barrage, like, you gotta be real careful when you use Barrage, because you're so vulnerable when you do it. They almost always use it from a flanking position, where they, like, go, like, around the backside, over the top of them. Can't really go over the top on this map, but, like, go, like, around the side, what have you, and then, like, get some flank action. They combo it with another ultimate, like Graviton, in which case they probably still, like, drop directly on the person. Or, and this is the best time, like, I fucking love this play, when they see the opportunity, so they just, like, jump Concussive Blast over really quickly, and then just, like, Barrage suddenly. Whereas we, like, slowly float out into the middle of the objective, and then Barrage. It's less impressive and less powerful than just, like, Concussive Blast over, because there's less build-up to it, right? It's like if Reaper... Like, I think about it like Reaper's Death Blossom, right? If you watch the Reaper Wraith form his way towards your team, past the front line, you're like, this boy's about to use Death Blossom, and everyone starts spreading out, everybody with a stun gets ready to use the stun as soon as the Wraith form ends. Whereas if the Reaper just, like, pops out next to you and starts using Death Blossom, it kills you before you can really react to it, right? Barrage is the same kind of concept. If you can see the Pharah, like, floating her way over towards you, you're like, okay, I see what's coming right now, it's Pharah. Whereas if you just pop out right next to them, or, like, fly right over to them with a Concussive Blast and ult right next to them, they're like, oh, what the fuck, and then they're dead before they know what the fuck, because Barrage kills you real fucking fast when Pharah's close to you. So... it mostly, like, watching this just strikes me as being uncomfortable playing the hero, or being unfamiliar playing the hero, because we spend a lot of time, like, awkwardly shuffling around the map, like we don't really have a firm idea of what we're trying to accomplish. We spend a lot of time on the ground, just in general, when we're playing Pharah. The whole point is, like, abusing vertical mobility, because that's kind of, like, Pharah's thing, right? Is that she has access to a whole sight line that most people don't have, the sky, like, right down on people. It's very unusual, because usually people are, like, all about the sky, but they're always floating out in open space. We're, like, not really taking advantage of the vertical mobility at all. You know, it's, like, awkwardly, like, shuffling around. Doesn't really look like we have a firm idea of what we're trying to accomplish. You know, uncomfortable playing the hero is what it looks like. So, and I mean, you know, we had Lucio Moira, so we're going to have to come down to the ground more often than we usually would, because they can't reach us in the sky, so we'll have to come down to them to get healing, or, like, go get a health kit. but we could spend more time in the sky than we did in this game. So just try and get used to abusing Pharah's vertical mobility more, and might try to hold concussive blast more, because we use it like for not great reasons a lot of the time, and like I'm of the opinion it's better to save for vertical mobility or horizontal mobility, unless you can use it to really fuck up the enemy team by, you know, killing them or pushing them really out of position with it. Just like chucking at them willy-nilly tends to not get very much accomplished. So, yeah, get used to abusing the vertical mobility more, get more comfortable, like, moving around on the hero, because Pharah is one of those heroes where, like, when you get really used to, like, controlling Pharah, it looks so sick. Like, I think Pharah, really high-level Pharah play, is, like, one of the most engaging to watch, because Pharah is actually, like, super mobile. It's just a matter of, like, getting used to using all of the mobility. So when you watch somebody just, like, concussive blast across the map, like, fucking 50 miles an hour, they stop right where they want to and barrage and kill the entire enemy team, oh my god, it looks absolutely incredible. So yeah, get used to using the vertical mobility, and just, like, get more comfortable, like, floating, basically. So, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us, and I hope you found the video helpful.